Hello everybody, Dragana here from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about dyeing your papers with different flowers and plants. Basically eco-dyeing. In the first part of the video, I am revealing my first batch of eco-dyed papers. I'm taking pages one by one using my hands and a brush. Later on you will see me using a brush and scraping off gently all the flower petals and leaves to reveal print. After that I will be laying them flat to dry, and afterwards I will stack them all up and put under a heavy book to flatten them out. I tried the method where you layer everything down and put something heavy on top and put it in your oven or on your stove and slowly boil it. I must say, with that method, out of 20 papers I only got about 3 that were good, so I wasn't really happy with the result. Most of my papers turned out really greyish looking, and I thought there must be another way of doing it. I didn't really want to have really grungy, dirty looking papers. I wanted them to be more colourful. I wanted to create some really cool backgrounds using flower petals and leaves, and I wanted them to have that marble effect, greens and purples and blues and reds together, and they create this abstract looking, almost like watercolor painting. For these prints I used strawberry leaves, I used raspberry leaves, and there was leaves of some weed plant. I don't know what it is, but it had really interesting leaf shape, like rounded ones. I also used some fresh dandelions, and I used some dried rose petals, some dried peony rose petals. I had some purple hibiscus flowers from last year. What else? I'm just trying to remember now. I also used some red cactus flowers from last year and some pink ones. Some dried leaves. Probably there was some other dry flowers as well. I would have used fresh ones, but it's that time of the year, they're still not flowering. So this was all from last year batch. I did not record the first part of the video where I was actually layering things up or making what I call paper lasagna. Paper and flowers lasagna. Because this was never meant to be a tutorial. I was doing this for myself, just trying it out. But then when I was about to reveal the prints, I realized they looked so good, and maybe I should turn the camera on just so that I can remember what plants I used and what gave me certain colors. So I turned the camera on and I recorded this part, and later on when I watched it, it was really fun. So I thought, why not share it with you so that you can see that part of the process, and at the same time you can see what you can expect when you dye papers this way. You know, you will get some colorful backgrounds that you can further on decorate by stamping, drawing, stenciling, and so on. I also want to show you how you can make these papers yourself. The second part of the video is going to be a tutorial where I will show you how to layer papers and plants and what you need to have and how to do it. In the third part I will show you my first batch and the second batch prints once they're actually cleaned and dried and ready to be used. And also I will show you what I've been making with them. I will also show you how you can use these prints in your projects for your junk journals. I made a few things and I think you might find them interesting. So I will leave you now to enjoy the rest of the revealing process, and then we'll talk back again once we start the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the first part of the video. Now it's time to start a tutorial. Let's learn how to make these. First, I should go through the materials and tools that you need for this eco dyeing process. So you'll need a tray. Could be a plastic one, suppose, because there will be no baking involved. Probably about A4 size, but my A4 papers can't really fit without the corners getting squashed, so I use slightly smaller pieces of paper. I use this drawing paper, which is 165 GSM, and the size is B4 cut in half, and then it fits perfectly inside. It's just slightly smaller than A4, but it works well. Okay, so I have a few sheets here. I usually do about 20 in a batch, so I have 20 here ready to dye. And now we have our black tea solution. So I used 5 tea bags to a liter of water, and I just make normal tea, pour the hot water over it and let it stand for about 10 or 15 minutes. I take the tea bags out and I put it in this spray bottle from window washing detergent, I think, and it has to be warm, like not boiling hot, but just really warm. And another solution here I have is onion skin water, and this is about a handful of brown and purple onion skin cooked in about a liter of water. I let it boil for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I turn the heat off, and once it's a little bit cooler, I strain it and put in another bottle like that. So that's that. Now I want to mention I don't treat my paper with anything. I just use it straight from the pack. And I use the thicker paper, 165, which is double the thickness of your regular copy paper, because I don't want to risk any tears. I find that once you add, you know, a lot of these things that have stems like that and everything gets squashed, papers tend to tear in some areas, so I want to use thicker paper. And so the way I do it, I basically start with spraying. I'll first spray the bottom because I want to have some of that liquid, and I'll do some of the onion skin and some of the black tea, like so. And then I put the paper down. Okay, so now I spray as well. So I try to have like areas with just tea and areas with just onion skin, because I want that marbling effect. I hope you can see how this onion skin is a little bit more reddish and the tea is darker. So I like that marbling effect. Okay, and now I'm going to use greens. I'd like to put the greens down the bottom and have the more colorful flowers on top. I have some strawberry leaves here. I have some raspberry leaves. I picked some fresh dandelions. And over here I have some dry peony rose from last year. Basically when they're almost gone, I pick up the flowers, so let them air dry and put in a jar and just use for my papers. Over here, these are just hibiscus flowers. And here we have some roses, I think red and by the looks of it yellow. So I suppose with all of this you can use fresh flowers, but the roses and peony roses and the hibiscus flowers are not flowering yet, so I don't have any fresh ones, but I have dry ones, which is alright, either is fine. And so I first start with greens, so I just layer them down. I might just take that off. To be honest, I'm not sure if it's going to give me better imprint if I turn it down or up. So I'll do one of each just in case. Okay, there we go. And now I spray again a little bit on top. Just to get everything damp. Okay, and now I want to add some of these petals because they might release some of the yellow pigment. And I won't use the whole thing because it's quite thick and I'm scared that it might damage my paper. So I'll just sprinkle this like that. I might get one. And I think I've read somewhere that if you want to achieve a nice green color when you're eco dyeing, one of the ways to do it is to mix yellow and blue dyes. And I've noticed that these hibiscus flowers, although they look purple, they give out more of a blue dye. So I'm thinking if I add some of the petals to the yellow here, mix, it might even give me a greener, more of a green color. So I'll just try it out. Yeah. All right, so now I take another piece of paper and again I'll just spray a little bit. And I turn it down. And then I spray the other side. All right. I'll try again with these, but I will put them this way. Just so I can see if it makes any difference. Since I don't have enough, I'll just continue with strawberry leaves. Now we'll be putting them down like that as well. I think these are wild strawberries. They seem to be growing everywhere in my garden. It's gone wild. All right, so that's that. And again, I will add some of that blue. Make sure you wear gloves when you do this. When I did my first batch, I did not, and now I'm just embarrassed by the state of my hands. I've got dye everywhere. It's hard to get it out of your skin. Okay. Let's get one more. Now we get another sheet of paper that is slightly wet. Alright, so that's what I do with the green bits. So for this one, I thought maybe we'll just do the blue flowers I might even just leave them like this. Just spread them out a little bit. And I pick these off the shrub that grows in my garden. Like when the flowers are when they drop on the ground, they're big, but once they're gone, they just curl up and drop on the ground. So I tend to pick them off the ground and just dry a little bit more and leave in a jar. So this will probably give us a nice bluish purplish look. So I might actually add some of these in areas of the dandelions. This is all experimentation, you know. You pick some plants around your garden or your park and just see if the nature can paint you a picture. You know, I'm very happy with the backgrounds that I got from this. For me to create 20 different backgrounds, it takes a lot of time. Look, these have a lot of pigment. Look at the state of my gloves. I'm just glad it's not on my hands. And yeah, I was saying that for me to create backgrounds like this with paint would take a lot more time. My grandma just cracks me up sometimes. She was, you know, very curious about what I'm doing and why am I picking these plants and coloring them and all. And she goes, yeah, I understand, but don't you have some like watercolors or acrylics to paint your papers? I just laughed. And she's right, you know, we do all of this. And I have like a gazillion of different art supplies, and yet I'm really drawn to painting with dyeing papers with just flowers. All right, I will take some of those peony rose flowers, and I just know they give me such beautiful color, and I want this marbling effect again, so that's why I'm picking always two colors. And now I will again add some of the yellow, just to try and get different shades of the purple, because this purple I think is going to be much stronger pigment than the yellow, but it might give me some variations in areas, so I want to do that. Right, now let's spray this one. And I have to say, with this method, only one of my papers was torn and all the other ones stayed intact. But when I tried baking them, that was a complete disaster. I only had 3 successful pages. I don't think heating the paper is necessary when you do eco dyeing. For fabric, yes, I agree it should be, but with paper, I think this works better for me anyway. All right, let's have some of the rose petals. And here we already have some yellow and red, so I'll just add them like that, and that would be all for this one. Another. I love how these two colors mix together. Great. Now we've got just a few of those left, so let's just use them up. Okay, and just more of these. That's a strong pigment. When I was picking them, I felt like I was stealing from the bees. You know, they love this. Oh, there's a little snail here as well. To take it back to the garden. All have their purpose, I suppose. Alright, so that is probably it. I didn't use all of the paper, but you get the idea. And you just need to experiment with what you've got. And you might get different results with different plants. It's all about experimenting. Okay, and this is how I finish. I want this page to have color on both sides. And then on top I'll just try to get a larger piece. I just put that like that. Okay, so now you need to put something heavy on top. I usually put my cutting board, you know, like that. And then something heavy. It can be some rocks. It can be like another smaller tray that you put something heavy inside, like cutlery or some books. Let's put this book. And now I leave it like that for about 24 hours. With my first batch, it was 2 days after that I actually took everything away and I revealed the prints, simply because I did not have time to do it after 24 hours. We had guests over all day and just had no time to do it, and I wanted to film the process. So but I peeked. I actually lifted everything off and I peeked, and after 24 hours the dyes had time to work, and I think it was ready to be revealed, but I just didn't have time, like I said. So this needs to sit now at least 24 hours. And at the beginning of the video you saw me revealing the prints, which was not this batch, it was my first batch, but it's the same thing. You gently lift off the papers, take the materials using brush or gently with a hand, and lay the papers flat, and once they're dry you can just dust off any remaining petals or leaves off, and you stack them up and again put something heavy to press down and have them flat. Okay, I am back and I have the prints here with me, and I've taken them out of the tray. 48 hours later, I was distracted. I couldn't do it after 24 hours, but I don't think there would be much difference. So I took them out, cleaned them off like I've shown you in the first part of the video. I let them dry, and then again, once they were dry, I dusted off any of the bits of flower petals and leaves that were still on there. You know, when the paper is wet, you don't really want to rub too hard because you can damage it. And after it was dry, I stacked them up and I put a heavy book on top to flatten them out. They're still a little bit wrinkly, but I think that will get better in a few days if they stay really under a heavy book or something like that. Alright, so let's just go through them quickly. I think these ones were with the raspberry leaves. I can see some leaves here and here and here, and I think the color is really lovely. We do have some greens and some yellow and a bit of blue here, a bit purplish, and it's really interesting. That's what it looks like on the other side. Okay, now this one, just a bit more blue in this one and brighter yellow. I think dandelion flowers really have a quite strong yellow pigment, so, and that those blue hibiscus flowers mixed with yellow gave us these lovely green shades. So I'm very happy with this one as well. And again, on this side there's also a print, so both ways worked really well. Now this one is just gorgeous. These are, I think, strawberry leaves. Yes, strawberry leaves. I can see them here and here. I hope you can see that. And they picked up a purple flower, probably from the petals that were on top. I think it was sitting like that. But we again have some blues and some yellows and greens and also some purples. I think this one's just gorgeous. And on this side, it's also very pretty. It's got those kind of like marbling effect edges, almost like a watercolor. And this was also with, I think this one was with rose petals, the yellow ones and the red ones, or at least that's what it looks like. This one's quite similar, so yeah, I don't know if they were like this, or it's possible that, yeah. So that's the one side and that's the other. Very interesting. I really like it. And this is just one of the favorites from the whole batch number 1 and batch number 2. I think it's really beautiful. These were peony rose flowers, and we also have some green and blue around, but this purple is just so beautiful. I really love this one. And in this one we had a couple of tears, so I don't know how that happened, but it happened, so what can we do? But this side again, the same as with this one, absolutely gorgeous. You know, I really love it. If I was to paint this, I don't know if I'd be able to achieve this, but it's really great. And even this side is not bad, you know. There is no definition of shapes, but it has colors, different colors like purples and greens and yellows and blues. It's quite interesting. And this one, I think, was it probably the last one we did that we put on top, because this side is just flat, or was it the bottom one? I can't remember now. I think with strawberry leaves, but they're barely visible. But still, it's a very nice paper, I think. So that's that batch that we've done in the second part of the video. And I'll just quickly show you the prints from the first part of the video that you saw me reveal the prints, but they look now a little bit different once they dry, because while the papers are wet, the colors tend to look brighter or darker. So I'll just quickly go through them, and they as well printed on both sides. And this one's really interesting. And that one, this is with raspberry leaves, I think. It just had a bit of a dent here, but otherwise it's really cool. That's that weed that I don't know what it is, but it has really interesting leaf shape, and I think those turn out really cute. And that's the other side of the print. Hope you can see it was like that. So that here we got a darker leaves, and we have lighter ones. And it's the strawberry leaves. I love this one. I think it's really pretty. All right, and here I think this was from those cactus flowers. There were a few more, but I actually used them up. Yeah, I used them up already. Could not wait. These are also very interesting. I love the greens and the blues and the pinks on this side as well. This is also peony rose. Just gives such a beautiful purple color. And that's the other side of it. I love it. I love this one. I think here we have more blue from the hibiscus flowers. And this one is also gorgeous. Another pretty one. This one I love. I think I can see dandelions here, probably. And also the cactus flowers, this reddish one, but peony rose as well. So a few different ones, and it worked so well. I really like this one. That's the other side of it. And also this one. This one, I love it. Like the pinks, and then it's just so many colors in one print. I just love it. Really like an abstract painting. Beautiful. And these are also interesting. These little like veins or something from the flowers. I love that. I love that. Another purple one. Oh, this one's purple and blue, also very nice. I really like this one. And that one. So that's from the batch number 2. Now I want to show you what I've been making with them. I took a few through my embossing folders and I think added a bit of black ink, so I think they look really cool. This as well. I think I embossed this one. I don't know if you can see the rose. I want to make some tags. Yeah, this one as well. Especially the ones that are wrinkled. Once you do that, they actually flatten out and they look good. Okay, I've been doing that. So I've been stamping on some. Doing some stamping. As well. And here. Oh, I took one whole piece and I just stamped butterflies and tickets and flowers. And I started cutting them out. I think they look really interesting. Colorful flowers and butterflies. So yeah, that's one of the prints that I haven't used the whole thing. I just used some of it. This one as well. And then one of the pages was kind of really flat. I think this was the top one from the first batch. And I thought I'll just try and put it through my printer. And I printed these butterflies that I can fussy cut. And they wouldn't be just white. They'd be like purplish and yellowish and bluish. So that's another way to use them. Just go and print something in black and white on top of them. Or just stamp, whatever is easier for you. What else have I done? Oh, some stenciling. Yeah, stencil on top of this one. And that one as well. And here I just used with some of my die cuts. This was also the strawberry leaves, yeah. And I'm thinking of making a tag and I'll add something else on top. So it's quite interesting, and I made a few die cuts as well. And then I actually used some of the digitals that I created with these papers, and I'll just quickly show you first the digitals. These are the designs that I picked that I thought were really good. There's 14 of them. I tried to get them as close as possible to the original, so they're really almost same colors, but then again colors will depend on how you print them. I printed these on high quality setting, which uses a lot of ink, so the colors are bright. If you think they're too much or too strong or too saturated, you can always print on lower setting, which uses less ink, and it will result in paler looking prints if that's what you want. Here we have some yellow ones. That's that one with the strawberry leaves, and some of these. And I love this one. Okay, and I'll show you what I made with these digitals. I made one of my folios. I've done a tutorial, I think 6 months ago or something like that, on how to make these little journal folios, and I thought I'd make one with my prints. And here we go. I used that green one for the inside and one of the purple ones on the outside. So I was really busy last few days creating these papers, so I hope you like them, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some ideas on how to make your own eco prints. It's really fun, and you never know what you're gonna get. It's always a surprise with each one is different. So I hope I see you again soon. Bye for now.